Hello everyone, this is day 57 of Polity Daily Drill. Let's begin. First question. Participatory democracy seeks to enhance which one of the following? Decentralization, representation of disadvantaged sections, active citizenship, political accountability. Now, see, participatory democracy is a system of democracy in which members of a group or a community participate collectively in major decisions. All the democracies are participatory because they are based on popular consent, which also ensures their participatory nature. However, there are chances that the role of citizens could be limited to just voting in a democracy. That is what is there in most democracies. And the gap between the elected representatives and the people widens in complex democracies, which have a variety of people divided by, say, caste, class, religion, region, etc. In contrast, a participatory democracy advocates active citizen participation in policy making to promote the common good and also make government more accountable to citizens. Hence, C, active citizenship. Right? This would mean what? Active citizen participation in policy making. Okay. So C is the right answer. Moving on to the next question. Consider the following statements. Rights are reasonable claims of persons recognized by society and sanctioned by law. This statement is correct actually, because rights are defined as claims of an individual that are essential for the development of his or her own self, and also they are recognized by the society or the state. These are legal, social, or ethical principles of freedom, or of course entitlements, and other fundamental, how do we say, normative rules about what is allowed to people or what is owed to people according to some legal system, social conventions, ethical theory, etc. And rights are often considered fundamental to civilization, being regarded as the established pillars of society and culture. That's what rights are. Anyway, statement 1 is correct. Number 2, without legal enforceability, the violation of reasonable claim cannot be called an infringement of a right. So, absolutely correct. In fact, the explanation is also correct. So 2 is correct and explains 1 very clearly. A is the right answer. What does the second statement say? See, when the socially accepted, socially recognized claims are written into law, they acquire real force. Otherwise, they remain merely as natural or moral rights. When law recognizes some claims, they become enforceable. When fellow citizens or the government do not respect these rights, we call it what? The violation, the infringement of a right. In such circumstances, citizens can approach courts to protect their rights. So, if we want to call any claim a right, it has to have these basic qualities, right? Therefore, rights are reasonable claims of persons which are recognized by society and, of course, sanctioned by the law. And when it is legally enforceable, the violation of that reasonable claim will become what? Infringement of that claim, of that entitlement, of that right. Right answer is A. Moving on to question number 3. Consider the following statements about a federal form of government. Federal form of government. Federalism is a system of government in which power is divided between a central authority, and of course various regional authorities. Now, whether you call it a regional government, a state government, a provincial government, nomenclatures can vary, but this is what is federalism, where power is divided between a central authority and various constituent units of the country. Now, usually a federation has 2 levels of government. One is a government for the entire country, which is usually responsible for a few subjects of common national interest, defense, currency, etc. The others are the governments at level of provinces or states or regions that look after much of the day-to-day administration of the state, policing functions, maintenance of public order, etc. Okay, and both these levels of government enjoy their power independent of each other in a federal form of government. So let's look at the question now. Both the central and the state governments enjoy powers independent of each other. Yes, absolutely correct. Number two, the state government is always more powerful than the central government. No, 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 that is not true. Okay, in any case, in a federal form of government, both of them enjoy their powers independently. Nobody is superior to the other. So that is incorrect. So in this case again, right answer is A, because statement 1 is correct, 2 is incorrect. We have to find the correct statement. Moving on to question number 4. Consider the following statements regarding the formation of the Constituent Assembly. The idea of a Constituent Assembly for India was first proposed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar in 1934. This is actually wrong. Why? Because in 1934, the idea of a Constituent Assembly was put forth by M.N. Roy, a pioneer of the communist movement in India. Statement 1 is incorrect. Anyway, so this was M.N. Roy, not Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Second one, the British government accepted the demand for a Constituent Assembly in the August offer of 1940. Yes, the British government came up with this offer to get the cooperation of India in the war effort. Lord Linlithgow announced the August offer in August 1940, of course, which proposed the setting up of what? A Constituent Assembly after the war, where mainly Indians would decide the constitution according to their own social, their own economic, political conceptions, of course subject to fulfillment of obligations of the government regarding things like defense, minority rights, all India services, and treaties with various states. Plus, no future constitution was to be adopted without the consent of minorities. Yes, so this is correct, of course. Number 3, the Constituent Assembly was directly elected by the people of India based on adult franchise. We know this is not correct, right? In 1938, just to tell you, Pandit Nehru, on behalf of INC, declared that the Constitution of Free India must be framed without outside interference by the Assembly elected based on adult franchise. And the Assembly was to be partly elected and partly nominated. Moreover, the members were to be indirectly elected by the members of Provincial Assembly, who themselves were elected on a very limited franchise. Of course, elections at that point of time was going to be very difficult, especially to convince people on what they were going to vote for. So it was a partly nominated and partly elected body, and that partly elected body also was elected by those who were elected by the people, limited group of people. That's there. And number 4, Mahatma Gandhi was member of the Constituent Assembly. Of course, we know very well Mahatma Gandhi was not the member. In fact, the assembly included all important personalities of India at the time, exception being Mahatma Gandhi. So 4 is incorrect. So how many statements are correct? We know very well, only one. A is the right answer. And the last question for today, with reference to Article 29, consider the following statements. The right to preserve a language includes the right to campaign for its protection. See, Article 29 of the Constitution gives us the right to conserve the language, which also includes the right to agitate for the protection of the language. Hence, political speeches or promises made for the conservation of the language of any section of people does not amount to corrupt practice under RPA 51, a very important point to note, and that is why a correct statement. Number 2, Article 29 of the Constitution safeguards the rights of minorities exclusively. No, it does not exclusively for the minorities. It is meant for minorities as well as the majority. 2 is incorrect. Number 3, the term minority is defined in the Constitution of India. See, Article 29 deals with the protection of interests of minorities. It guarantees the right of a citizen as an individual, irrespective of his community to which he belongs. Article 29 also recognizes two types of minorities. Minorities based on religion and based on language. But the question is, are they defined? No, they are not. They are recognized but not defined. So 3 is also incorrect. How many of these above statements are correct? Only one. A is the right answer. This brings us to an end of our discussion for today. Let's meet tomorrow. Till then, that's all for me. Jai Hind.